Hey there, welcome. Welcome to Rise and Receive. This is an opportunity in your day to explore how to receive your fulfillment by unlearning struggle. So, today I'm going to talk about a topic that came up when I was asking people in the Receive community for input on some ideas because I've got some mini trainings that I'm planning as a preview and as an opportunity to really connect with fresh new possibilities in 2022. And because I'm going to be offering for the first time in 2 years the new and improved Receive experience, that's going to be a live training. And so I was asking for some input on some ideas, and I already have a number of mini trainings that I have planned as we move through the end of 2021. And this particular topic came to mind or was offered or requested. And as I sat with it, I just thought it was so powerful and so important that I didn't want to wait until I developed a mini training, and I just wanted to address it directly in a Rise and Receive. So today's topic is how to trust everything will be okay when it feels like the world is imploding. So if that's something that strikes a chord for you, then I invite you to really give yourself some time to just sit and receive what today's message has to offer you. And if you don't have time now to come back and play it, I always leave my recordings on my Facebook wall, and they're on YouTube as well, because there's going to be quite a lot here that you can take with you that can really help you if you're really feeling like the world is imploding and are really struggling with feeling safe, trusting that everything will be okay. So, before I get into that, in case you don't know me, my name is Sonia Miller. I'm a speaker, coach, and best-selling author, and I mentor ambitious, goal-oriented people to surpass their limits with ease and speed. And the way that I do this is I teach primarily one skill, and that is how to receive. Because if there's one thing that I've learned after more than 20 years as a coach and a recovering goal-oriented, ambitious person, is that goal-oriented, ambitious people, most of us, we don't know how to receive. What we know is how to work hard. And so when you're missing that skill set, then you tend to overcompensate on hard work. So you'll pursue your goals until the cows come home. I call it the hard work treadmill. But if you don't know how to actually stop and receive everything that you've been working hard for, you'll just keep walking on that treadmill forever, seeking what you want, but never actually get anywhere, never actually arrive. When, however, you know how to receive entirely new possibilities that have been waiting for you can actually come into your life. So that's what I do. That's what I'm about. That's what Rise and Receive is about. It's about learning the very natural skill that we all have, but many of us have forgotten how to receive. So that being said, how to trust everything will be okay when it feels like the world is imploding. So today, because above all else, my heart's desire is that people feel better. If you feel like the world is imploding, that you walk away feeling better and that you actually have something concrete that you can practice. So the way I've structured today's Rise and Receive is I'm going to talk about the what, the how, and I'm looking at my notes to make sure I cover everything, and the why. So that'll kind of help you just to really take it in. So let's talk about the what. So the what refers to, what is this question actually about? Okay. When we're asking the question, how do I trust that everything will be okay? Okay. And we really look at this idea of trusting and this idea of everything will be okay in the future. What that's really about is that we're trying to fix the future or control the future in order to feel safe. That's really what this question is about, wanting to feel safe. Now, let's talk about why you don't feel safe. This is still part of what this question is really about. If you don't feel safe as you contemplate the future, there's two main reasons. One is you're not feeling. In order to feel safe, you need to feel. But when you are focused on the future, you're up in your head in this imaginary place that doesn't exist. Okay, so you're not feeling, you're up in your head, focusing, your whole mind is focused on something that might happen. So that's the first thing. If you don't feel safe, it's because you're not feeling, you're not in your body, you're not here right now. You're up here, future tripping. And one of the things that I always talk about in the Receive course is struggle begins in the mind. Your mind is an incredibly powerful asset. But when you don't use it for what it's designed, which is part of the struggle that arises for goal-oriented, ambitious people, okay, the mind is very powerful. It's a tool. If you use it correctly, it will serve you. But when you need to feel instead, and you don't know how or why you would ever want to, because you never got that messaging or that example, then you go back to over relying on the mind, and the mind is not good for fear. It can help a little bit if you put your attention on things that make you feel better, right? But feeling is the body's job, and the mind has other duties and responsibilities. All right, so that's the first reason you don't feel safe. The second one, which I've sort of touched on, is you are focusing on scary things. And what you focus upon flourishes. One of the presuppositions in everything that I live by, teach, and practice is your consciousness creates your reality. And your consciousness is the sum total of everything that's happening in your inner world. So there's your awareness, there's your attention, there's your focus. Now focus, which is an aspect of the mind, is great when you harness the power of your awareness and you use that focus intentionally. But if you don't, and you just default to whatever comes into your awareness, and most of us spend a fair amount of time on social media, watching the news, and guess what is all over the news? If you look for it, scary things, all kinds of scary things. Now, something that's really important to, I think, just legitimize and declare and just give everybody a reality check. Yes, there are scary things in the world. Yet there is so much well-being. It's everywhere. Well-being is everywhere. But you cannot see it if you're not looking for it. You will always find evidence for what you're looking for what you are seeking. So if we look at scary things and we're seeking something in scary things, we're going to see scary things. So the two reasons you don't feel safe is A, you're not feeling, and B, you are focusing on scary things. You're using the mind and you're not using it well because you're using it to focus on scary things. All right. So then now we get to look at, that's the what, the how. How do I feel safe? Now we get to use the mind in our favor and choose, I like to say, give your mind a new job description, which is when you notice that you are afraid, future tripping, and focusing on scary things, you become aware. You notice. And your mind's new job description is to go back down into the body. Stop all this seeking for safety in the future, which you can never get to because the future is the future. Bring your focus back to right here, right now, in the body, where you can actually feel. Okay, and a nice way to you can have a little affirmation or a mantra to remind you of your mind's new job description. Stop trying to fix the future. Shift to nurturing now. FFNN. Stop focusing on fixing the future. Start focusing on nurturing now. Nurturing yourself by feeling and by coming into right here, right now, where you actually exist, where you actually are living your life right here, right now. Okay, so let me see if I forgot things. So again, stop. This is the how. Return to here and now. And nurturing is about feeling the sensations in your body. Now, if you are somebody who didn't get a lot of support with that, validation for that, your nurturing is malnourished or absent, which is one of the reasons ambitious goal-oriented people hit their upper limit, because they're trying to do all sorts of things with only half of their skills. They're seeking doing action skills instead of their being, feeling, experiencing, receiving skills. If you're not accessing all of your resources, you can only get so far. If you're operating as a human doing and you are ignoring or not giving any attention to access your human beingness, you will only get so far. You start tapping into the being skills, that blows the lid off your glass ceiling. Okay, so that's the how. New job description for the mind: stop, return to self, return to here, to now, to where you feel, and then feel the sensations in your body. Now, what happens when you start to do that? You might be saying, great, Sonia, how do I feel safe? This is where the actual 3-step receive method comes in, which is, as I always say, it's so simple because it's so natural, because it's simply about being, that the mind will say it can't be that simple. But this is because we are malnourished in understanding the power of being. Okay? And the absence of doing does not equal the power of being. So this does require giving your focus and attention to something that hasn't gotten a lot of focus and attention. So the 3-step receive method is this: ALI. The first thing is you just become aware of the sensations in your body. You simply feel. You can also become aware of all the thoughts and images that are in your mind from the scary things you've been looking at. And you receive your worries and your fears and your expectations. I should say you actually become aware of them. I'm aware that I'm afraid of this, and I'm aware that I'm afraid of this, and I'm aware that I'm sad about this, and I'm sad about what's happening here. You can kind of think of it as a brain dump. So you dump what's in the brain, you become aware of it. You also feel what's in your body. You become aware of that. That's the A. It's all about awareness. Then L is let it be here. Just let it all be here. And part of what we do is we do a lot of breathing just to give it space and permission. Because when you're in the mind, all of these things, you're trying to have them not be here. You're trying to fix them. You're trying to battle them. You're trying to run away from them and distract yourself. You're not letting them be here. And what happens is what you resist persists. So by trying to have all the stuff that scares you not be here, you're actually focusing on it with resistance. You're focusing on the thing you don't want by trying to make it go away. What you resist persists. But when you let it be here, give it lots of space, here's what actually happens. When you release resistance, that thing that's here can finally do 2 things. It can finally land. It can finally land. And because it can land, then it opens the space for it to move on through. It'll do what it came here to do. Sooner or later, it will pass. I've had so many clients who struggle with anxiety. And they've been trying to get rid of the anxiety by figuring out and fixing the cause of their anxiety. That just gives more resistance to the anxiety, which has anxiety grow. But when you learn how to actually let the anxiety be here and feel the sensations that come with it, and yes, there are some nurturing tools that sometimes we need to learn because it hasn't become a natural thing for us. So we learn about nervous system tools like touch regulation and breath regulation. There's a lot of wonderful nurturing tools that you can start to develop as you tap into the power of being. Then what that anxiety was doing in your body will actually move on through. It will move on through. And as it does, many people report, wow, Sonia, yes, it came. I felt anxious, but it passed so quickly. And then there was this peace. There was this relaxation. I went from a 9 to a 3. And then I could think clearly, and then I could see new possibilities. That's because the space that you're wanting to receive new possibilities has room now for something new other than this battle with the anxiety. And that's what happens with all of this scary stuff in the world when we don't know how to relate to it. So that's A, L, and I is invitation. Once there's space, once you're resetting yourself, okay, then you can invite more better. Now, here's the thing. The space itself is the invitation. Things simply show up in your awareness, in your feeling state, you feel better, and also the capacity to see what's actually true. What's actually true, and I'll dare to say this, if you're watching this video, chances are good that what's actually true is that you are actually safe right now. So you get to start feeling the safety that is real and true now as you retrieve yourself from the fantasy of a future that is nobody can know. Nobody can know. Now, in addition to feeling safe right now, because that's where all your power is, which feels better, okay? What also happens is when you feel safe right now and you focus on this, you now become part of the solution for our world instead of part of the problem. Because as I said, there is so much well-being. There's so much well-being right here, right now, in any given moment. Right here, right now, if you're watching this video, I'm willing to bet money that right here, right now, you are safe. And right here, right now, people that you care about are safe. So what happens when you actually feel safe? You now can access the creative functioning of your brain. You can actually be part of the solution because you are now freed up instead of paralyzed, instead of consumed and preoccupied with things that you don't have control over. And then you can actually be one of those people who helps people who actually are not safe. But what happens is so many people are paralyzed by fear. They're focused on things that do not help them, right? That they are now part of the problem. And instead of being freed up to be part of the solution, they are part of the problem because they're now one more person who is unable to access their power, to access their resources, and to be able to open up to connect with people who actually really do need help right now. That's one of the reasons I say, which now leads us to why. Why? The why of this whole conversation is, why is this important? Receiving is one of the most generous things you can do. Okay? You're accessing the power of being. It's an inch wide, a little 3-step method, and a million miles deep in terms of how it helps you access your power, how to receive your fulfillment, how to invite possibilities that have been waiting for you, because you start to shift from seeking what you think you don't have, in this situation it's safety, to seeing and receiving the safety and the well-being that is right here, right now. And if at some point you are actually in harm's way, this capacity to be aware, to be present with your body and feel, is something that you can recruit and tap into much more readily because you've been practicing how to receive things that life is giving you, even when it's scary, even when it's painful. So that's the what, the how, and the why. I hope it gives you something concrete that you can start practicing. And in case it doesn't, in case it's like, okay, that was really good information, but okay, so how do I feel safe? This is your practice. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. Okay? If you notice your future tripping and you're trying to summon trust in something that's just uncontrollable, stop, become aware, drop into your body. Feel. If there's fear, let it be here. Feel as best you can. Breathe into that. Let it be here. If there's a lot of thoughts and ruminations, just write it down. Let that all be here. Okay? And practice nurturing in any way you can. Now, I'm going to give you some tips on how to nurture when those feelings are coming up. But the main thing is, feel it as best you can. Breathe into it. It will pass. And then simply ask life, what else is possible now? How does it get even better than this? Or, I am willing to see, to feel the safety that is right here, right now, in ways better than I ever imagined. Okay? So, that's my offering to you around this important topic. It's deep, it's far, it's wide. This is our world. And there is a way to feel powerful, even in the midst of what's happening. Now, this was such an important topic that, as many of you know, when I do Rise and Receives, I usually have one card that I like to highlight. I have 4 today. So these come from the Receive Oracle cards, which have lots and lots of receiving wisdom for you to connect with and practice. All you need to do is pull a card whenever you need to, read it, and see if it will nurture you and soothe you. So these are 4 cards today. Can you see them? I don't know. That all relate to this. We have safety is so important and so integral to receiving that there's actually 2 cards that are about safety. The first one is Receive Safety. I am willing to see and feel all of the ways that I am already safe. There is Be Safety for Yourself. I am willing to feel the natural safety that lives in my heart, body, and soul. It's already here. Okay. Feel sensations. We talked about that. Oops, there we go. I am willing to feel the feeling of my wish fulfilled. When you start to feel, you will connect to the feeling of safety that already is fulfilled in your body, in your being. And this is the practice. Return to yourself. I am willing to discover how to receive my fulfillment by always returning to myself. Right here, right now. 99.9% of the time, you are already safe. Return to this reality right now. As you do that, your consciousness creates your reality. You can embody safety. You can be safety. You can even start to be a catalyst for safety for others. All right. So if you like this, if this was helpful, please like, please share. It helps me reach the people that I'm here to serve. Please subscribe to YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, just click the red subscribe button. And if you want to experience what I hold as a home for people to return to come home to themselves, to experience the nurturing homecoming that is the heart and soul of receiving and the power of being, please consider joining the Receive community. It's always being nurtured, and it's a wonderful way to keep putting your focus in the correct place. I'll include a link to that. If, let's see, it's facebook.com/groups/Receive community. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you at the next Rise and Receive. Bye, everybody.